talking about. I want to say thank you all so much. She said my name. I'm Chrissy Harris. I am the 2nd Ward Council member of Evanston. And I want to say how pleased I am to see the faces that I see today, that you all are here in our wonderful town of Evanston. On behalf of the City Council and the Reparations Committee, I welcome you to Evanston. I hope Evanston is everything that you hope it to be. And if it isn't, that you will leave something with us so we can learn to be what our guests want us to be. So enjoy this conference. Again, we're so excited to have you here and to be Evanston, the first place, the only place as of now who has given reparations to people of color. So thank you and be safe. And who's next, Robin? Okay, whoever knows, they're next. Thank you all, and have a great evening.
So y'all already been rehearsed on this, right? So good evening. All right, Habaragani. Asante Sana. Habaraganis, what's happening? What's the news? You respond by saying Njema if you're feeling good. Habaragani. Alafia. Alafia Nia Dupe. Alafia is Yoruba for peace. And you get the longer response is the longer phrase is Alafia Ni. And you would respond by saying Alafia Nia Dupe, but we'll do short version, which is just Alafia. So everybody say Alafia. All right, so I've been given the honor to do a very special ceremony in our tradition, in African tradition, which is known as libation or tambiko.
Thank you so much, Brother Fatayo. We're grateful for those libations, and also I think he gave the invocation and the message and the benediction as well. So he has set us up for tonight, and for that we are grateful. My name is Michael Neighbors, and I am the servant pastor of Second Baptist Church here in Evanston, just around the corner from here, and also president of the Evanston North Shore National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. And I'm here to offer the invocation. Let us bow in prayer. Now, God, we come from a multiplicity of locations, arriving here on a city by a lake called Michigan, just north of a metropolitan municipality called Chicago, once the mecca of most blacks from the South. We collectively gather at the beginning of the Christian season known as Advent. We arrive filled not only with significant anticipation, but also with heightened hopes. Hopes that were part of the dreams of the ancestors who went before us. Hopes that were formed in the cracks of crevices of oppression, suffering, and subjugation. Hopes that were battered on the anvil of mass kidnapping, hundreds of years of slavery, hundreds of years of racism. Yet hopes that weathered storms, from El Ninos to polar vortexes. Whatever transportation delivered us here tonight, we made it. And this is not our final destination. Having received the baton from the ancestors, we're now actively and fully engaged in demanding that justice roll down as rivers and righteousness as an ever-flowing stream. We ask now that you breathe upon those who have gathered and those who remain as watch guards on the walls back home. Anoint us all with a Shekinah glory that is manifest through black brilliance, ebony excellence, and a mahogany marvel that is unmatched in human history. We come from 26 states representing 76 initiatives. May the genius in this room pour forth from this Hotel Arlington and Evanston. May it flow to currents from Massachusetts to Oklahoma, from North Carolina to Virginia, Palm Springs and San Francisco, Chicago to Detroit, and beyond. May we behold it with our own eyes and offer gratitude and thanks. In the words of the late Dr. Charles Gilchrist Adams, former pastor of Hartford Church in Detroit, who died just yesterday, we offer thanks right now for what is about to unfold in every way conceivable. In English, we say thank you. In French, we say merci beaucoup. In Spanish, we say muchas gracias. In German, we say danke schön. In Japanese, we say arigato. In Russian, we say sabesbo. In Swahili, we say ansante. In Mandarin Chinese, we say ise. In Yoruba, we say ishwan. In Hausa, we say nagode. A few generations ago, our ancestors simply did it this way. They threw their heads back and they cried out with uplifted hands, "Thank you, Lord, for bringing us this far. And you didn't bring us this far to leave us." In the name of the Creator, we pray. Amen.
Well, good evening. My name is Daniel Biss. I have the honor of serving as mayor of Evanston, and I am here very simply to welcome you to Evanston, because we're proud of the work we're doing. We're proud of being the first municipality in the country to give reparations. We're proud of the daughter of Evanston, Robin Ruth Simmons, who has become a celebrated national leader on this issue. But I'm also here to welcome you because we need you. We need your help. We need your partnership. We know that the work that we've done so far on reparations is one small step of a very long journey, a long journey that we have to continue to go on here within the borders of Evanston, and a long journey that we need to all lock arms and continue on as a nation, because we have a lot of repairing to do. I'm always struck, Robin is such a remarkable teacher on this issue, in addition to being such a great leader. And one thing that I'm always struck by is that even as she's become this nationally and globally recognized leader of remarkable renown, she maintains a tremendous humility, imbued with the knowledge that this is work that cannot be done by one person or institution, but must be done collectively in collaboration. So when I found out that there were over 200 participants in this year's symposium, I was ecstatic. When I found out that there were over 75 different reparations initiatives represented here from across the country, from more than 25 states, I was ecstatic. When I imagined the learning that we'll be able to do from one another during the course of the next few days and going forward thereafter, I just felt my heart lift. And so I want to thank you for that, for being in this work, for having this faith. But I also want to say something that I haven't quite figured out how to say, so bear with me for a second. I know that this work weighs on the heart in a way that's really hard to put into words. I'm not a descendant of enslaved people, but I'm a descendant of ancestors who were victims of similarly unthinkable pain and abuse. And I know that the very feeling in my body when I talk about and work on those issues is different. I carry them with me in a way that hurts, and it's just heavy. It's heavy. But I hope that we can feel joy in this work too, because I want y'all to think about the fact that we're in a really, really, really special moment, a moment that an activist ought to cherish and hold like a precious, precious gem. Every movement for change, every movement for justice in human history spends almost all of its time in one of two phases: in the phase of impossibility or the phase of inevitability. It's always one of those two. It's impossible forever, and then one day it becomes inevitable forever. And in between those two so lengthy periods, there's a moment of magic where people who have the vision and courage to be the leaders and teach the rest of the world about what should have been inevitable all along begin to see the momentum that justice demands. And y'all, we're in that moment right now. Cherish it, enjoy it, make the most of it, push as hard as we can, push as fast as we can, because we have waited far, far too long to do the work that must be done. And I'm just here to say, welcome to Evanston, and thank you for being those leaders that this country needs so badly. Whether or not this country deserves the leaders that you are, we need you, and we appreciate you, and I simply say thank you.
My name is Dr. Ron Daniels. I'm president of the Institute of the Black World 21st Century and convener of the National African American Reparations Commission. And let's give a rousing applause to Mayor Bliss. The reason I say that is that as activists and organizers, very often we have to struggle against the elected officials. They're sometimes the antagonist. And so it's important when we have a leader who is willing to step out, take risk. When you start talking about reparations, and you be, like of European ancestry too. I mean, that's risky because we know that, first of all, we had challenges among ourselves to bring it along, but having someone like Mayor Bliss step forward cannot be underestimated. Let's give him another big round of applause for his leadership. Just want to welcome everybody. This is wonderful. It's always great to bring people together. You are in the epicenter of the reparations, the local and state reparations movement, and much more than that. And I always have to say that when I come to Evanston and project it even beyond to the citizens, because I'm around, they say, I was somewhere the other day, and the lady said, where are you going? Reparations. And I'm listening to what the reactions are and so forth. Because when you are in the middle of history, sometimes you don't appreciate it's happening. And so one of our tasks always is to say thank you to all of the citizens of Evanston, all of the stakeholders, all of those who believe, those who didn't believe, those who are being converted to believe. Let's say thank you to Evanston, Illinois, for having stepped out. And we welcome you also because it took an incredible leader. And I like reluctant leaders because she don't like us to be talking about her. Oh, I didn't do nothing. I like that kind of leader. Because all too often what we find is people who are so eager, they're almost like eating the microphone up. You know what I mean? That's not Robin Ruth Simmons. Courageous, visionary, anointed, called to the task. And she serves until she cannot, almost to a fault, till she can't give no more. And so that's what also brings us here. That's why we are welcomed. We need to be welcomed here. And I welcome you here as well. And let me just say this. I also welcome you, and we thank Brother Ifateo for that libation. And Lord, have mercy, black preachers sure know how to bring it, don't they? Whew, all of that. I mean, did y'all hear that? I mean, Lord have mercy. But anyway, that's for another time. And we'll be at this church tomorrow night for the town hall meeting. When we speak about ancestors, I'm going to repeat some of them because they are dancing. You hear me? I mean, who would have believed that we would be where we are with the surging reparations movement? You hear me? Surging. Professor Hilary Beckles said that reparations would be the human rights issue of the 21st century, and it is becoming so. So Queen Mother Moore is happy. Queen Mother Moore is dancing. Kelly House is dancing. Happy, happy, happy. Reparations, Ray Jenkins' name has already been mentioned. Dr. Conrad Worrell, Dorothy Benton Lewis. All of them are happy. John Conyers are dancing because we are doing the work. But it's not finished yet. We still have to carry it across the finish line. But we are on our way. And we're on our way because you are here. And the greatest thing about this experience, and I already heard as I was sitting around people saying who came for the first and second time, oh, I love coming because I get inspiration. Because it's not easy out there. So these gatherings give you, we fortify, we become an extended family. And the centerpiece of this is learning and sharing. None of us have all the answers. Some of us have a piece of the answer, and we learn and share. And in the words of my sister from Atlanta, Mabel Thomas, let me just say this. We don't have to look nowhere because you are the leaders we've been looking for. Thank you very much.
Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you all. I prepared my remarks and read it a lot so I could get my tears out. So be patient with me if I don't succeed in that. Grace and peace, and welcome to the 3rd Annual National Symposium for State and Local Reparations. There is so much that we will be reporting on since we met here last year in Evanston. And in great detail, we will learn more about that over this week. How together we are changing hearts and minds and influencing legislative and institutional change in this nation. Building on the work of our ancestors and the elders, we have set new precedents, prioritized collaboration, and reached new milestones that had historically been dismissed as fringe and implausible. This week, we convene for the 3rd year as a movement. In 2021, we gathered at my church, Faith Temple Church of God in Christ, where my pastor is the great Pastor Carlos Moody Jr. We gathered at a round table with about 43 of us. Last year, we gathered with about 70 of us in a room smaller up the hall. And this year, we convene with over 200 attendees. And I'll tell you that the registration had to be closed. That is how much interest and demand there is to join the movement for reparations. It was mentioned that there are 76 unique initiatives for reparations represented in this room today, with many more local leaders hoping to participate, and we hope to have more capacity to invite more next year. What some judge as a moment in reparations history is proven to be an absolute movement. What some judged as a moment is proven to be an absolute movement. The audacity of Evanston, Illinois, passing the nation's first tax-funded reparations legislation has aroused renewed hope and an additional path forward in the road to reparations. We, local elected leaders, grassroots leaders, practitioners, allies, academics, attorneys, clergy, philanthropists, are not knocking on the door, but kicking in the doors with a local to national strategy to repair and liberate Black communities in almost every state of the Union. Here are some of the results of our efforts. This is where I became tearful. Local leaders have initiated 147 local reparations initiatives. 31 governments have established a reparations task force. 8 have established a reparations fund, and at least Evanston, and from what we will learn from our Urban Institute report, Durham, North Carolina, Providence, Rhode Island, and St. Paul, Minnesota are dispersing reparations. Movement lawyers have won at least one legal appeal and implemented viable legal frameworks for reparations. Grassroots leaders have passed reparations by ballot initiative and supported winning political candidates that have advanced the cause for reparations in their localities. Evanston has cut the check. Cash reparations. And all have inspired cultural and value change within institutions, including philanthropy and the academy. Philanthropy has contributed millions of dollars to dozens of organizations to educate, organize, and advocate for Black reparations. Educators and practitioners have developed reparations toolkits and curriculum and have taught high school, college, and university students and communities the case, the possibilities, and the history of reparations. We have launched new organizations, partnered, collaborated. We have written articles and op-eds, and even a few books. I hope you go to the Resource Center and you see that across the hall. You have written poetry and produced documentaries and music, all in the name of Black reparations. We have cried, laughed, disagreed, reconciled, and have traveled the world, all in the name of Black reparations. The interfaith community, churches, synagogues, temples continue to play a key role in all of this. And this, my friends and family, only represents the 200 leaders registered for this symposium. As Cam Howard reminds us, we are winning and we have the power. Can hear him saying that. So let us pause and celebrate and acknowledge the milestones. Stay encouraged by our progress because we have many obstacles to overcome. On Monday, this week, November 27, 2023, Florida State Senator Blaise Ingoglia filed a proposed constitutional amendment that would prevent the state of Florida and local governments from paying reparations to descendants of enslaved Africans. This summer, on June 23, 2023, Texas United States Congressman Brian Babin introduced H.R. 4321. This House bill will prevent the federal government from providing assistance to states, counties, and municipalities that approve reparations laws like the ones we're all working on. This House bill is co-sponsored by Congresspeople from the states of, please pay attention, Texas, South Carolina, Alabama, Michigan, Utah, Louisiana, Arizona, Florida, California, and Indiana. Rep. Babin states, the No Bailout Reparations Act will ensure your money isn't used to rescue liberal cities facing financial ruins because of these policies. He goes on to say hardworking taxpayers shouldn't be forced to bail out democratic cities that implement radical race-based reparations policy. There's a lot to unpack there in that statement. Lawmakers introduced 563 measures against critical race theory in 49 states. Delaware is the only state in which the measure has not been introduced. 241 of these measures have been adopted. This is from a UCLA report that was released just in April of this year, and it only captures the anti-critical race theories from 2021 and 2022. The Supreme Court is packed with racism and has reversed affirmative action. Black men and women continue to be lynched by the police and neighbors. The red lines have only been removed from maps, but the laws have been remixed by way of local zoning and continued predatory lending. Donald Trump is the leading Republican candidate, and there is a concerning 50-50 chance that we will not win a Democratic president at this point in the polls. Reparations is an absolute partisan matter. The list of anti-Black policy and culture is long, painfully long. These are some of the obstacles and barriers that you have reported in your registration. Legal and financial roadblocks, resistance from government, residents, and white power structures, lack of knowledge and education, defeatist attitudes, misconceptions, and negative narratives, infighting and the lack of cohesion in organizing, capacity and burnout. And that's just to name a few. The only way we will overcome is by focusing on solutions only, and working together. This week, over 20 speakers will lead us in strategies and synchronize ways to win. I cannot conclude without love and appreciation for the residents and the leaders of my city, Evanston, Illinois, and the countless partners nationally that have supported our effort. There are many. Please trust and believe. We have dispersed $2,825,000 in direct benefits to 113 residents. to 113 residents that have experienced direct harm from anti-Black zoning laws in our city. We increased our $10 million cannabis commitment by an additional $10 million from real estate transfer taxes for a total of $20 million commitment from the City of Evanston, and the Reparations Committee is working to do more. Our interfaith community has raised an initial $1 million to fund the Reparations Stakeholder Authority of Evanston. Yes, to the interfaith community. The RSAE is an independent and Black-led organization that is supported by the Evanston Community Foundation. And tomorrow, we will learn the inspiring and informing results of a community survey, the outcomes of that, under the leadership of political scientist Dr. Al Tillery, professor and director of the Center for the Study of Diversity and Democracy at Northwestern University. And last but not least, I want to share gratitude for the small and mighty team of First Repair. Will the First Repair team please stand if you're not away working somewhere? Yes. And wave. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Over there. You all come up front so everyone can see you. And there's one that looks like me. Where is she? Yeah, there she is. Come on. Yes, just stand, please. Thank you, thank you. Yes. Yes. I'm missing Chuck Jackson. I don't know where he is. Maybe he's somewhere. Oh, there he is. Perfect. 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 Yes. Look at all these beautiful Evanstonians, each one of them a son and daughter of Evanston. I can only show up in the way that I do because of these brilliant leaders and our funders, some that are in the room today. They are excellent and committed, and it is an honor to work with each of you. I know I'm not easy to work with every day. I want to thank each of you for the extra effort this year, and particularly the extra effort in preparing us for this symposium. I think that it's going to be a huge success. Thank you. I also want to thank our board members that are here. If First Repair board members could please stand and be recognized. I see you, Tanika. Go ahead and stand. Matt Feldman, Casey, Brother Cam Howard, Dr. Akinyele Umoja. Thank you all. Thank you all for your leadership. And thank you to the sponsors, the vendors, and partners, including Ziamora from the Hilton, that has gone above and beyond here at the Orrington Hotel. Ziamora, wave your hand. She's been incredible. And now a few words of encouragement from my personal elders council. Don't shrink and stand firm, says the great Dr. Julianne Malveaux. Model repair in every area of our work, says the daughter of Evanston, Dr. Iva Carruthers. Our work is cumulative, and don't ever forget it. Judge Lionel Jean Baptiste tells me that. Spread the word. Dr. Akinyele Umoja has told me that. Aluta continua. We can all hear Dr. Daniels saying that at the close of a meeting, right? And you can achieve anything, and I mean anything, is words from Buford Fennell Jr. and Frida Morris, my own mother and father. And I will remind you, these are my words of advice. Collaboration is key. And my favorite African proverb is, little by little, a little becomes a lot. Please reflect on your year of movement service and enjoy this video by Jahi Allah of Most High Entertainment. Love and power to each of you.
We've lost touch with the ability to articulate in a language that our young people are accustomed to hearing. I have 6 children, right? All of them are focused on hip hop. I'm old school, but I'm a hip hop brother. And if you ask me to recite a little bit of what I've done, I'd be more than happy to do it.
Give me something.
I'll give you one. It's for our young people. Come close, brothers, sisters, and gather around. It's lesson time, time to get down. See, I was thinking about my life and how I got here. Half of us are scared and the others live in fear. Was it all about the master's plan that we would be stolen from the motherland?
Greetings, everyone. You know, they always set me up to come behind Robin. I don't know how I get in this position all the time. That video is very inspiring. You know, I've had the opportunity to travel so many places in the last maybe 5 years in the reparations space, whether it's locally around the city of Chicago where I live, or coming out to Evanston, or going around the country and other cities around the United States. Or even going overseas. I see Guy Mount there who invited me to Cambridge, and Robin went to Cambridge, London, being in Europe, in Geneva, Switzerland, speaking on the continent of Africa. I'm always encouraged and amazed and inspired by all the brilliant black minds who are doing this work at this time. And I'm inspired by all the brilliant black minds I see out here today. I want you to give yourself a hand. We are, as Dr. Daniels stated, we are the ones we've been waiting for, our people we're waiting for. We have to do this work, and we're going to win. I tell Robin all the time, we are winning. We got the power, and we're going to win. But it's those of us in this room who's going to make it happen. I'm supposed to talk about the state of the national movement. Instead of focusing on what's happening nationally, Robin did an excellent job of that. I want to talk about what we, those of us in this room, can do and must do nationally in this effort toward full reparations for the centuries of crimes committed against our and our ancestors' humanity in and by this nation. As many of you know, full reparations is the international standard for redress and has 5 components of repair: cessation and assurance and guarantees of non-repetition, restitution, compensation, satisfaction, and rehabilitation. Under international law, the goal of full reparations is, as much as possible, quote, wipe out all consequences, unquote, of the crimes and atrocities that were committed. Those of us here in this room know that those crimes and atrocities were committed at each level of government in this country. That is why we're gathered here at this symposium. Additionally, we are aware that the crimes and atrocities were committed by many non-governmental actors like corporations, institutions, and prominent families. We will dig deeply into that in one form of addressing those non-governmental complicit actors tomorrow. In talking about what we can and what we must do nationally, right now I believe everyone would agree that this is a national gathering of local reparation activists and advocates who are working on local and state initiatives. In addition, I want us to see ourselves as a national gathering of local reparations advocates who must also focus on the national or federal issue of redress from our local spaces. In essence, by entering this movement, you automatically have a dual role and responsibility in the movement, both local and federal, at the same time. 3 years ago, at Robin's request, I penned a pamphlet laying the foundation for local reparations, a national guide for providing symmetry in the local reparations movement. One of the purposes of the local reparations I pointed out was to propel the nation's a national conversation and action around H.R. 40 and the Federal Redress Bill. Initially, it was thought that the more local initiatives that were developed, the more pressure would put on the federal government to act. That still remains true. The work we are all doing in this regard is of the utmost importance. And it's also important for other purposes that I indicated in the pamphlet. However, at this time in the movement, we need more action nationally targeted directly at the federal government from local spaces. Let me repeat that. We need more action nationally targeted directly at the federal government from local spaces. The federal reparations movement was largely an inside movement. It was those organizations and individuals who were working primarily with the Congress and with the Senate to get the bill passed. We went as far as we can go in that direction. It must come from the ground. It must come locally at this point. In November of last year, a major shift occurred in the national reparations movement. The Republican Party won control of the House of Representatives. And with their control, many national reparations activists shifted their work from national efforts toward local reparations, almost abandoning the federal effort. Taking our eyes off the federal goal is a mistake on several fronts. First, we never really expected to get the legislation passed through Congress. Those of us who have been working for years, pushing with Mrs. Conyers and then later with our new leader, Congressman Sheila Jackson Lee, we knew that a congressional bill was not going to be passed. We worked on the legislative process to demonstrate that there was political will on behalf of Congress for a federal redress bill. In that effort, we worked hard to get H.R. 40 passed out of the Judiciary Committee to be sent to the House floor for a full vote. We were successful in getting it passed out of committee for the first time in its 30-plus year history. We worked to get a Senate companion bill established. Kenneth Henry is out here. When Kenneth came to NCOBRA, before I appointed her to the Legislative Commission chair, now she's the national co-chair of NCOBRA. The two of us walked the halls of Congress, the Senate building, trying to get a senator to introduce a Senate bill, and we were successful in getting Cory Booker to introduce that Senate bill. We got the Senate Majority Leader to co-sponsor the bill, and 10 of the 21 Senate committee chairs to co-sponsor, and nearly a dozen other major colleagues, or more colleagues, also signed on to the Senate bill. But even if the bill had passed out of the House of Representatives, and we worked very hard to get it done, to no avail, unfortunately, we knew it couldn't get passed in the Senate. We would need a 60-vote majority to prohibit the bill from being filibustered by hardline conservatives. We knew we couldn't get just one Republican to vote for the bill, so certainly it would be a fantasy to believe we can get 10. So the goal was to always pivot toward an executive order by the president to establish a reparations commission. We achieved our initial goal of proving to the president that his party has the political will to support the passage of this legislation. 217 confirmed votes in the House, and again, top Senate leadership in support in the Senate. And where you all come in, we also demonstrated that cities and states all around this country have signed on to show that redress for Black America is needed and wanted. President Biden has no doubt of the political will of his party and the demand from his largest voting bloc, the Black electorate. Now that's where we all come in, you all come in, we all come in this room. Currently, the president has not been moved by this demonstration of political will. However, he and his party are extremely worried about the Black vote in 2024. If you Google Democrats worried about the Black vote, you'll find dozens of articles. Well over $100 million will be spent toward targeting the Black electorate in this upcoming election, probably closer to 2, maybe 300 million. They've already started targeting toward the young Black male. Black voters are 20% of the Democratic Party's base. That is tremendous power. That's larger than all other people of color in the party combined. And there appears to be a sizable defection from the Democratic Party by Black voters. That's what has them worried. Some Blacks are saying that they will vote for Trump. Freudian slip. Thank you, Baba. Thank you, Baba. Wow. Need that humor, man. This work gets so serious sometimes. You need that humor. Some people say that they will vote for Trump. Some saying they will vote for a third party, and others saying they're not voting at all. If this stands as it is, the Democratic Party will lose in 2024. If it continues, they will lose big. So what we have are 3 foundational truths that we are building a national campaign around to push the president into establishing a federal reparations commission. That campaign is entitled Earn the Black Vote National Campaign. If you go to earntheblackvote.net for more information and to sign on to join in this work. Also, we have a QR code later where you can get the form and share widely. But what are those 3 foundational truths that we base this campaign on? 1, the Democratic Party needs overwhelming support of the Black vote to win in 2024. That's undeniable. All the major mainstream publications are saying it. Washington Post, Time, New Yorker, etc. The Democratic Party is totally dependent upon the Black vote. Biden or no other Democrat can win without it, they say. The second foundational truth is Blacks, we need a commitment by this party before the election to repairatory justice and ending structural and systemic racism. This has to be our truth as we engage the national political process. In other words, our vote must be earned and not taken for granted. The third foundational truth is that in order to achieve both of these outcomes, the president must establish a reparations commission by executive order now. We have a short window of opportunity, and we need local representation all around the country, echoing and organizing around these three foundational truths. It is my sincere hope that each of us here recognize and accept our dual role and responsibility in this movement. We are a national representation of local leaders working on state and local initiatives and the federal initiative simultaneously. We can and we must do both. I have some handouts at my table. I'm going to conclude. This is a handout that talks about the power of the black vote historically in America over the last 70 years. Over the last 70 years, the Republican Party has won a majority of the white vote in every presidential election, with the exception of 1964, when Lyndon Baines Johnson won 74% of the vote, of the white vote. Every other election since that time, the Republicans have won the majority of the white vote. There could not have been a Democratic president. Kennedy would not have been elected. Carter would not have been elected. Clinton would not have been elected twice. Obama would not have been elected twice, and Biden would not have been elected if it wasn't for the black vote. That's tremendous power. Why aren't our leaders telling us we have this power? It doesn't matter, we're going to use it. Whether they're saying it or not, we have to use it, and we're going to use it now. But this handout will give you some information on how powerful the black vote is in this country. Another handout, if you go to our table, is this postcard. It's a postcard of Pastor Turner's. Pastor Turner does an annual walk from Baltimore to the White House, approximately 40 miles, 40 for HR 40, and he lays a black wreath at the White House. And this is a picture of that black wreath that he lays monthly at the White House. On the other side, this is a postcard directed to President Biden. It says, and it's from the black elected, President Joe Biden, let's win together. The Democratic Party desperately needs the black vote in 2024. Black voters need a commission now for reparatory justice. Establish a reparations commission by executive order now. This is how we win, and the only way you can win. Let's win together, time is running out. There's stacks of 50s on the desk at the Resource Center. Grab your 50, take them home wherever you are. Take more than 50 you like. Make sure they're mailed in. About 60,000 pieces of mail come to the White House every week. There's 2,500 of those postcards out there. If they all mailed next week, 1 out of every 22 pieces of mail will be this postcard. So again, go to earntheblackvote.net, fill out the form, join one of the working groups. We're having our first major teach-in on December 11th. That will be posted soon on the website. Again, we got the power, we must use it. Asante Sana, Eluda Continua, Pamoja Tashinde, and Billy Shaka. Many thanks. The struggle continues. Together, we will be victorious. Reparations now.
Another round of applause for Clive Cam Howard. I neglected to mention earlier that Cam and I are also the co-conveners of the Global Circle for Reparations and Healing. And I just, as a elder's privilege, have to say another word about Cam Howard. I forget where we were. We were in Accra, actually, Ghana, a couple of weeks ago. And Kishi Taifa and a number of us, when CARICOM, and I'll mention this later, when they did their declaration on creating a CARICOM commission, we took that as an opportunity to do some organizing here in the United States. And so we went to Chicago State University, to have a major meeting. And that's when I knew about Cam, but it was the first time I kind of got to know him. And it was it was a little testy at times, But I want to tell you that I am so honored to be an elder and to watch the emergence of great thought leaders like Cam Howard. And I don't do that to blow smoke, because I learn a lot from him in our meetings. He's a foundational member of NARC and whatever, and I do what I do, but he does what he does. He does the work. And two things quickly. When we were at that meeting, just to show you the power of even these gatherings, brother stepped up to us and he said, I watched that live stream, the webcast, at the University of Chicago. You were there too, Jamoke. He said, that changed my life. It changed my life. He came out of corporate America and he began to work for black people. And so you never know what happens in these kinds of gatherings. I saw the sister from Seattle right here. She's just happy. Oh my God, I'm so glad to be here. From Seattle, Washington. Because she's been touched by this movement. Final thing I'll say is this. The Vatican is a major criminal in this process of the enslavement of African people. But Cam Howard, we were in Bellagio, Italy last year with the guest of Nicole Hannah-Jones for a strategy session. He said, we cannot go to Italy and not confront the Vatican. That's right. And it was Cam Howard who put together a presentment along with Sister Enola Aird from the National Healing Network. I'm not saying that correctly, but Enola Aird, and presented that to the Vatican. That's right. Brilliantly conceived, and it's now circulating all over the world. That's the work of Cam Howard. Give him another round of applause. Now I have the unenviable task of being taskmaster, because we want to introduce, and Robin is like, Lord have mercy, Robinson has these great visions. So now we're going to introduce everybody in this room.
Keith Young, Asheville, North Carolina, former Asheville City Council member and member of the Community Reparations Commission of Asheville and Buncombe County, and member of the Reparations Stakeholder Authority of Asheville.
City of Detroit, the home of John Conyers, Reparations Way, and Joanne Watson. Okay, and I am the co-chair of the Reparation Task Force in Detroit, and we did the first ballot initiative, I think, in the country on reparations.
Good evening. I am Newland Smith from Evanston, Illinois. I'm part of the Episcopal Diocese of Chicago Anti-Racism Commission.
Greetings. I'm New York State Senator James Sanders Jr. I'm the author of the New York's Initiative.
Paul Pierce, also not the basketball player. Also from Central Valley Reparations Fund.